the cancer had spread, and now I've got cancer in my lungs. And we got to go home.
44 years ago this week, Terry Fox had to stop his marathon of hope. He ran a marathon a day on one leg to raise awareness and money for cancer research. His journey's been documented in books, a musical, movies, and TV shows. And now a new collection tells the story in his words. Barbara Adhiya, the editor of Hope by Terry Fox, joins us with more. And I'm all teary just hearing that. And I just got that clip yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just so like when I was in high school, he was just kind of starting his run. And I knew a bit about Terry Fox, but the things I learned in this book, and you interviewed all the gamut of people around him, influenced by him, touched by him for this.
As many as we could find. And I'm sure there's many we could still find, but yes, I'm with you. I think everyone who watches the video, be it at the end or even just seeing him run, every person, when you just see him run, it almost takes your breath away for that moment, you know? And you can see the effort it takes, the concentration on his face, even the pain he was in, and it hits everybody really hard in the heart, you know, because of who he was and what he was doing.
And the fact that he was like, because I always thought that he must have been a great athlete beforehand, and you find out he was not. He was average. He was an average student. He was an average athlete. And the thing that got me the most was the nurse at the hospital when he was first diagnosed with cancer, and just like from diagnosis to getting his leg amputated, part of his leg amputated, was just 3 days.
Yes.
And a nurse at the hospital, they were going to put him into, because of his age, they were going to put him into an adult section of the hospital. She decided, no, he needs to go in with kids.
Yes, so he did not have much time to really digest it, and also, as you say, he was an average person. He was an all-around average person, and I think this is the beauty of his legacy and why we hold on to him as much as we do, is, as he said himself, one of my favorite quotes is that he says, I'm no different than anyone else. Like, anyone can do what I'm doing if they want to. And he really meant that, and he really believed that, because he did that. He was an average student. He was an average athlete. He loved basketball, actually. Running wasn't necessarily his first love. It was basketball.
Right.
And in one of the seasons, he only got like a couple of minutes at the end of the season. That's all he got on court. But he was at every single practice. He was at every single game. He sat on the bench all season long, only for those 2 minutes. And every year he improved. And that's the type of person he was, to become better and to become better and work hard and stay after school and come early. And so once he did reach that pinnacle, like, he was Athlete of the Year, which he shared with Doug Alward at the end of high school. So that's how he had transformed through those years. And then he got that diagnosis, and God bless Judith Ray, because the nurse, she was a wonderful woman, and she kind of joked with him right off the bat and said, well, you know, this is quite a way to get out of your exams, you know, this is, she really kind of brought levity to it. And yes, the smartest thing, on multiple reasons, when you know, we have the benefit now of looking back with 2020, of being in a ward with young boys. Because for him, the seeing young kids suffer was very much at the heart of his purpose of what he was doing.
Because so many of them were in traction, they couldn't get out of bed, and then he realized, well, he was able to get up on crutches shortly afterwards.
The day after.
And he's got to do something for these kids.
And he would hobble around and just entertain them and bring their spirits up. And that's why with Mitch Fiddick, who ended up being his training partner, Mitch Fiddick was an 11-year-old boy. Okay, and this is who Terry started training with from ground up now, right? Because now he's got to run as a runner with one leg, and again on a prosthesis that back then was not made for running. No, we don't have blade runners and stuff back then.
And no special shoes.
Nothing.
And no money to buy new shoes.
Absolutely nothing. And they joke about having that shoe glue and trying to keep their shoes together. But because Mitch was a boy, in his interview, he says, like, I'm sure there's something else there. I just never understood why it was me and why, you know, I was just a kid. But what he didn't understand, and he learned through this process of making this book, is that Terry never told him about all the boys he would go around to in the ward and entertain. Terry never shared that with him. They did share that they had the same doctor, which was very interesting. As they're training, they take a break, they're talking, and he was an 11-year-old boy, but Terry really connected with children, right? And so they were having this conversation, but Terry never shared with him that he would go around and do this for these kids. But Terry knew that Mitch was one of those kids, because Mitch was in hospital. Mitch did have a hip condition. Mitch did spend about 8 weeks in traction, unable to move.
Wow. It's just one of so many inspiring stories in here, and you find out how prosthesis has changed so much around the world because of the work, and of course all of the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that have been raised. And again, this is out very timely. Terry Fox Run across the country, coming out happening in many areas on September 15th. Hope by Terry Fox is out now, and half the proceeds go to the Terry Fox Foundation. Barbara, wonderful job on this.
Thank you.
So much to learn.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoys it.
Thank you, Terry Fox.